Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
There's always just that active when defending. I think like. There's always just that active when defending. I think like. There's always just that active when defending. I think like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Oh gosh, Ian, right, man. You're right. We're gonna have to go again. People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. I hope everyone's doing well and safe. To all my long-term supporters, whether you're on Twitch, one love, whether you're on YouTube, appreciative of all your support. If you're just tuned in for the first time, hit the sub button anyways. If you're gonna do nothing more, make sure you've hit the like button, people. Likes are more important than subscribers. Remember, you heard it here first, so please hit the like button, comment any opinions you have. Don't forget, 7 p.m. we're watching Arsenal versus Sporting. It's watch along settings. If you're on YouTube, just pin to the live message, man. What do you think about Arteta's comments about Nketiah in the presser? I haven't read his press conference. We're going to get into it, man. We're going to look at the transfer news. We're going to look at the press conference. I think Fabio Vieira's been speaking. Enough things. The dream in relation to links to players, as I always say, the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately, man. But it would make sense. He's a baller from what I've seen, but I don't know where he fits in. Big up DG. Not sure who you're speaking about there. My boy Simons, would be happy to see him at the carpet. Watching him at PSV is such a joy. He's lit, man. He's more than welcome. Can play out wide. Obviously can play through the middle. Young, potential, all of that jazz. We would have seen firsthand what he could do. Wait, shouldn't have left PSG. Well, should be brought back to PSG. Baller, man. For a sec, I thought I was late. Nah, man, you're all right, man. Yes, DG, it could just be me, but who's Gabriel Veiga? Is that Celta Vigo? He looks like a decent 20-year-old, very Spanish, very cultured Spanish sort of midfielder. Would have to improve in terms of that higher level of consistency. Would have to probably improve physically, but I can't expect him to be the finished article. This is his first sort of outbreak season at Celta. From what I've seen, good balance, wants the ball in tight spaces, you know, good passing range. Can see why he's been linked with Arsenal and other clubs. If you type his name on Google, he's linked with a bag of teams though. Real Madrid, Chelsea, Arsenal, allegedly where the favoured move, etc. So again, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. Any creative piece of journalism can say this, that, and the third. So early doors, man. Let's actually start before we get into the transfer news. Let's look at Mikel Arteta's press conference and all of those good things before we look at the transfer news, people. That's transfer news, so let's slap that over there. Let's get into Mikel Arteta's press conference, man. Again, first things first, the first article I want to look at is what he's talking about in relation to potential injuries today. As you know, it's Arsenal versus Sporting. Like my man Raz has said, nice to see you back here. Get a like, hit the like button. Did you see Marquinhos' red card? It's BS. No, but I know he's played 89 minutes for Norwich and been sent off. I'm going to have to do my research for the long report as well. Arteta provides squad update ahead of Sporting. Ahead of our last 16 clash with Sporting CP, Sporting Lisbon, Mikel Arteta provided an injury update on our squad and spoke on managing the return of both Gabriel Jesus and Emil Smith-Rowe. It's great to see Gabby back. You can feel the happiness of everyone around him, supporters, players and staff. We've missed him and now we're glad he's back. Arteta assured that Jesus' return would be managed carefully. Specifically, he said we have to manage his return and we have to manage his involvement in the squad and in the team. But Gabby is feeling good every day that he's training. He says that these senses are getting better and better, so that's really positive. On Emil Smith-Rowe, we have to manage Emil's load, but for sure he's right. but for sure he's in a position where we can use him in the team at any moment. Then it's about how he's coping with the game in general and whether to take him off or use him for the last few minutes. He knows how much we love him, how much we've missed him, and how much we need his qualities. Now he needs to prove it like he did last year. He needs to prove how much he wants to win and how much he's going to contribute to this team to be better and to win. He's going to have to show that to get on the team. And that's true, and that goes for everybody. On Eddie Nketiah, he's getting better. He's still in the boot, so it's still a few weeks away. So, yeah, boy, you know, Eddie Nketiah, the mad thing happened to him. We need to be patient. It was a nasty injury. It was a challenge that Eddie got ahead of him, but thank God he could have been worse, so he's not in a bad place. Boy, that's upsetting with Eddie Nketiah. We're going to need everyone, and this is why keeping everyone fit's an illusion. When some players return, other players unfortunately get injured, man. It's a bit of a shame, but injuries are part and parcel of the game. Smith Rowe showed his quality last year. Hopefully he can get a clear run of form. Same goes for him, Eddie Nelson, and anybody else struggling with injuries. Not going to lie, I wasn't blessed with watching Arsenal when we used to compete, so anybody better than Mustafi is magical business. Eddie looks like he could be out for up to 4 to 6 weeks. Trossard better get used to playing 9 until Jesus can pull full 90s. I think Jesus gets a start today. I could understand if he doesn't, but I think Jesus gets a start today, and we keep it moving. Xavi Simons is a baller, definitely taking him. Xavi Simons, yeah, I'm here for that. Hit the like button, everyone. Appreciate you lot's comments, people. Hope you're doing well, DJ. I'm always doing well, man. Appreciate you lot. Just another day on the grind, mate. Kind of wish the day would accelerate because I kind of want to see Arsenal sporting. I'm a bit nervous, but good nerves. Did you see what Ten Hag said about us saying how we've had no injuries this season? To be fair, he didn't actually say that. And if you check the last video I've done, I've covered my opinions. I do think some Arsenal fans are doing too much and getting excited. I don't know why he's speaking about us, but I don't think Ten Hag is necessarily wrong. You know, again, what I think Ten Hag's failed to mention is Brighton and City. Brighton, who are over exceeding expectations to get European football, and City have also had clear runs, you know. And also what he fails to mention is, yes, we've had a clear run with injuries per se, but we've missed Gabriel Jesus for the best part of the season at a point. We've now missing Eddie Nketiah. Smith Rowe was one of the first names on the team sheet at this football club. He hasn't been fit since pre-season. How much did Mikel Arteta have to change what he's doing from a tactical standpoint? And in life, you know, if we look at our personal life, somebody's always got more than us. Someone's always got less, you know, to keep balance. You've had as much as you cry about injuries, you've had a better time than Liverpool. Liverpool and Chelsea have had a really tough time with injuries on top of them struggling. So what is it then? You know, what is our medical team doing that yours aren't? You know, I'm not going to cry about our players being fit, even though we've had issues. We're doing things well. Obviously, Ten Hag has just signed for Man United. So there's probably an element of, you know, maybe the medical staff, the sustainability of the intensity of the training sessions, a completely different football from Jurgen Klopp. But Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, ironically, like now, when he first walked in the job, they suffered injuries. But yeah, I think what Ten Hag actually said to what the media is saying in the public, they're wassing it, if I'm honest with you. But nonetheless, I think he needs to face his own front. You know, there's going to be many a times where they're going to have a cleaner run of injuries and we're going to have a worse one. We've dealt with injuries this season and before, really. I've got no sympathy for any manager in the Premier League that has to cope with injuries. You signed up for that. It's like me feeling upset for a chef that cuts his finger. You signed up to be a chef. It's going to happen. It's really going to happen. So it is what it is, man. But fundamentally, I don't think Ten Hag is wrong for what he said. But I do think the media, you know, saw 2 and 2 and got 5. And a lot of people are not reading the specific headlines. But again, it's hypocritical because you've had an easier time than Liverpool with injuries. So what is it then? And you have to credit your footballers because we've had injuries. And sometimes you've heard Mikel Arteta say, this guy was ill. This guy almost failed a late fitness test. This guy pushed himself back into fitness. Why aren't your players doing that? There's rumours Martial's not really on that. So you need to take it up with the Lord or whatever. But I'm not complaining about any of that. Keeping it moving. Shout out to Ten Hag nonetheless. So, yeah, with Smith Rowe, it's about managing his fitness. And as you can see there, Mikel Arteta's kind of put the gauntlet down to him. If you want to be in the team, force your way. Eddie Nketiah is a few weeks away. Gabriel Jesus, we've got to manage him as well. Smash the like button, folks. So if we keep it moving, every word from Mikel Arteta's press conference. Let's see how long this actually is. And Odegaard's actually spoken. On the atmosphere at the training ground, first of all, they get on really well. And you can sense that there's a good combination of desire to win and competition between the players. And they also know when to enjoy it. So that's why the atmosphere is always good. If you want to see my opinions on Ten Hag, I've just dropped a video on that. So Yeah, there you have it. On how good it is to have Gabriel Jesus back. It's great to have him back. You can feel the happiness of everyone around him, supporters, players, and staff. We missed him, and we're glad he's back. On ensuring his comeback is done right. Once again, we have to manage his minutes. We have to manage his involvement in the squad and in the team. But Gabby is feeling good every day, and he's training. He says that these senses are getting better and better. So that's really positive. On squad rotation today. We're looking to win. That was the same when we were in Lisbon, but we're going to have to do better than we did in Lisbon to win against Sporting tomorrow. Amen. On the step up against Fulham after defeat in Lisbon, yes, it was a big difference. The desire to win the ball back, the aggression that we showed, and how we defended the boxes. That's something we're going to have to show tomorrow against a top quality side. They punish you the moment you give them some space. And so tomorrow, that cannot be the case. On whether the Europa League is a distraction from the domestic campaign, no, we haven't had big European nights for 3 years due to COVID, especially tomorrow is probably the first one that we've had for a while. And hopefully we'll build a really good atmosphere and enjoy it. Our supporters will be there against a really good team that is going to put a big challenge in front of us. Once again, we've spoken about Eddie Nketiah. He's a few weeks away, but for those who might just be joining, he's getting better. He's still in a boot, so still a few weeks away. We need to be patient. It was a nasty injury. It's a challenge that Eddie got ahead of him. It's a challenge that Eddie's got ahead of him, but thank God he could have been worse, so he's not in a bad place. On any other team concerns, I don't think so. On whether Benjamin White will be selected for England, he's in great form. Obviously, I don't know what's gone on with when he got sent home for whatever reason from England. There's rumours that he won't be involved. He's available for us, so for sure he'll be available for the England squad. As far as I'm concerned, he's been in really good form. He's been available for every single match, and he's been performing really well for us. On Smith Rowe, he knows how much we love him, how much we miss him, how much we need his qualities. Now he needs to prove it. He needs to prove how much he wants to win and how much he's going to contribute to this team to be better and to win. And he's going to have to show that to get into the team. That's obviously in training and any opportunities you get, people. On whether he'll be integrated gradually, or better yet, reintroduced. We have to manage his load, but for sure, why he's in a position where we can use him in the team at any moment. Then it's about how he's coping with the game in general and whether to take him off or use him for the last few minutes. Haaland's irrelevant to what we're doing, so I'm not going to worry about that. Again, City's form is irrelevant. Obviously, he's talked about his own sporting idols, and he said Rafa Nadal. Odegaard has been speaking on Sporting, and Jacob Kiwior, he said, I watched the first game against Sporting, of course, and I thought it was much more open than we would have liked. We did some things in the game that we normally don't, and we know they have quality, so they will punish you for any mistakes. We gave away some simple balls, and we cannot afford to do that. So I think it was a bit too open, and we didn't play with the control that we normally do. On the other side, we showed a lot of good things as well, so we'll learn from what we did wrong and put that right tonight. Then we can fix it here at home. Another positive from the first leg was Kiwior making his debut. It was great for him to get his first minutes with us because he's been training really well since he joined. So for him to play his first game from the start in a big occasion like that was a great opportunity for him, and you could see his qualities. I'm sure he will just get better and better, especially when he understands more of what we're doing, builds those relationships on the pitch with the rest of the team, and develops the language true. Amen. And then said, for me, that has definitely made these games a bit different. Before in the knockout stages, it was very tactical. There were a lot of more scenarios to think about during the game. Now it's more straightforward. I mean, happy to see the death of away goals. So maybe that's good in a way. But to be honest, I'm not sure whether I prefer it yet or not. All we know is that we play at home tonight, and if we win, we're through. So that's our target. So we'll have to see, people. It's our first European tie since the start of November. And although it's our first European tie since the start of November. We played last week. I'm not too sure. It's our first European tie since the start of November. We played last week, but whatever that means. And although I don't think it's different to switch focus from the Premier League to Europe, it's true that the routines are different. We are back traveling, and it's a different kind of football to what we face every week in the league. So it feels a bit different, but I don't think it's really difficult to change the focus, because you want to win every game you play. You want to win every competition, tournament you participate in. So it's just a challenge for us and a different type of football as well. So we'll have to see. I think he means at home. Fair enough, really. I mean, we've covered that already. A bit confusing. I mean, you lot can read that. I was going to read that in my spare time. I'm so proud of how far the squad has come, but there's serious levels in the champs to where we're at the moment. Tough decisions for people in charge. I will be watching that. One love to yourself, Kay. Looking at our squad, the team is stacked with 7 forwards and only 5 midfielders. Some people are going to have to keep it moving, but who? We just got Jorginho. All I know is to go to the next level, first things first, we need a centre middle too. I like Xavi though, but I see him going back to Paris Saint-Germain. If I'm Paris Saint-Germain, they might as well buy him, get Rabiot on a free transfer, get Nkunku, get players who know what it means to play for Paris Saint-Germain, really. Do you think Pep was a hypocrite for subbing Haaland off for almost beating Messi's record? No, I mean, the game's done. He needs to rest his players where he can, and he's allowed to make any changes he wants, really. Smash the like button, people. Ten Hag plays the same team every match and has gone deep in every comp and wonders why he's got bare injuries. Bit harsh. Xavi's a bellend, bit harsh. I think he means at home. If he means at home, fair enough, innit? Keeping it moving, people. Mikel Arteta shares what Gabriel Jesus has been telling him after Arsenal's training sessions recently. I think this might be the same comment we've seen already. Yes, it is. Where is... Here it is. Is this Fabio Vieira? Apparently, Fabio Vieira has been speaking. He said, I want to develop a lot, to improve a lot in my physical and defensive position. I think I can be better, and I'm here for it. That's encouraging because, you know, how you defend is how you play for Mikel Arteta's team, regardless of where you play on top of the Arteta ball and whatnot. Physically, it's nice to know you can improve, really. He said in relation to the differences between Portugal and England, he said it's different. In England, it's more physical, and in Portugal, it's more technical. You have to adapt, of course. It's 2 different types of games. Now, after a few months, I've developed a lot, and I'm improving a lot every day to try to do my best. It's the way I work at the gym and on the pitch. I think the most important thing is on the pitch where you play. Outside the pitch is very important as well. You need to improve your physical, and I'm improving. I want to be part of this team. I want to be there to help them. And of course, I want to win the Premier League. This is a dream come true. So I want to win both competitions, the Europa League and Premier League. This is my aspiration. And I mean, whether you know, everybody should want to win everything, really. So lovely to see that, Fabio Vieira, man. I'm not saying this guy will ever be amazing for Arsenal or not amazing, but I'm keen to see what you're on next season. Doesn't appear that there's any Newcastle interested in Balogun. That was ages ago, weren't it? What else have we got? Apparently, Arsenal have secured the future of teenager Marcelo Flores by triggering a 2-year extension in his contract. We somewhat knew that already. His contract was due to expire, 19 years of age. You know, there's rumors he will stay in Spain to pick up a passport there, the Mexican international. So we'll see. Not really playing at Oviedo, people, but let's see if he can have a future. I don't think he'll make the grade at Arsenal, but I hope so. Apparently, Mikel Arteta... Sorry, let's pause that. Mikel Arteta has changed the name of substitutes to impact as still subs in the hope it improves players' mentalities when coming off the bench. I do think with the way football has changed, when you look at City, when you look at this season with Arsenal, you know, actually Sir Alex Ferguson's Man United, when he had about 20 million strikers, you know, in general now, if every team in the top 6 wants to aspire to try and win every trophy, it's true. You know, you do have to. I do think the attitudes around subs has to change, whether that's defenders changing, closing games, or obviously match winners like Reece Nelson has shown for Arsenal against Bournemouth. Fundamentally, they're still subs though, and different name, different. If you're still on the bench, you're still on the bench, and they know this, isn't it? But nice to see people. He's calling them finishers. It's something that we want to change, and I discussed it with a few people, and we want to find something that is particular for us. Obviously, everyone's on the bench will be disappointed, but you need to put your egos to the side. If you only play 10 minutes, how can you impact the game in that 10 minutes? If you're starting, it doesn't mean you're going to end the game. So make sure you're doing stuff. I think it was the best way to express how we feel about them and how they have to feel towards the team, especially on a match day. As good as we've been this season, there's actually been a point, people, where even more so at the start of the season. Do you remember we basically had no attackers on the bench? So I wonder if Ten Hag knew that. I think it's very difficult to measure the differences it makes. I think it is replacing someone and making the team better or doing things differently that are related to winning football matches. At the end, your mentality should be only that, to impact the game, to win it. That's it, nothing else. I cannot measure that difference. I have to get into their brain. So far, we don't have anything like it. I think the way we describe it, it's more like we want it. If you repeat it more and more and more, you discuss it more and more and more, it will be closer to that and just being a sub. That's true. Once again, Arsenal, if you didn't know already, Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke have changed their roles at Arsenal, people. This was a few days ago. Arsenal have announced an update to the structure of their board. Stan and Josh Kroenke have been made co-chairs, and Tim Lewis is now an executive vice chair. Arsenal described the move as a simple evolution of the leadership structure of the club. The Arsenal board is made up of 4 people: Josh and Stan Kroenke, Tim Lewis, and Mr. Harris of Peckham. The only Lord I know is that upstairs. No man, no other humans called Lord to me. If that's what you lot to do, you lot do what you're doing, innit? So yeah, man, they've taken up their new roles. Apparently, Josh and Stan are the owners of the club, and their title underlines that they sit at the top of the tree and have the final say on all decisions. Smash the like button, people. Lewis works just beneath them and is essentially their man on the ground in England. He has become an increasingly influential figure at Arsenal in recent years and is involved in major decisions while relaying information back to the Kroenkes in America. Could you like pause or something? Like that graphic is putting me off. The club want to provide clarity both internally and externally over the way they operate at boardroom level. This is not a huge overhaul by Arsenal, but instead a formalization of the roles that have already been in place for a few years. Obviously, you've seen Edu now become the sporting director. Arteta's, when he signed his new deal just before that, went from being head coach to manager. Obviously, the women's manager signed a new deal as well, so it further confirms things. Keep doing what you're doing. Apparently, Tim Lewis is a lifelong Arsenal fan and corporate lawyer specializing in advising companies on mergers and acquisitions, equity issues, and general corporate advice. He joined Arsenal in June 2020 and has played a key role since then. He has known the Kroenke family for over 10 years and enjoys a strong working relationship with them and Mikel Arteta. Does this change the day-to-day running? No, not really. Again, this should be seen as a continuity and not a change. Josh Kroenke regularly visits England to watch Arsenal and holds meetings with key staff. All major final decisions at the club are signed off by the Kroenke family. They're the owners, so we knew that. Lewis reports into them. Beneath him, Chief Executive Vinay Venkatesan will continue to head day-to-day operations alongside Director of Football Operations Richard Garlick and Sporting Director Edu. So there you have that, people. In that regards, Arsenal have waited 3 years for nights like this. The Emirates Stadium will be full for the European knockout game for the first time since the COVID pandemic, as the Gunners take on Sporting for a place in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. With the tie finally poised after last week's 2-2 draw, it promises to be another test of the squad's new mentality, which those inside the club have stressed as being key to their success. The Gunners have coped with the pressure of being top of the Premier League. I don't check the Premier League table. And must show they can handle the heat of a European knockout tie. It's also the start of a huge 4 days for the squad. On Sunday, they can go 8 points clear of Manchester City at the top of the table with victory over Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, who prior to the game against Brighton, I don't know, didn't have a shot on target in 3 games, haven't won in 2023, and I believe it's now 11 games without a win. And if you look at the league table, everything from 12th to 20th, everyone's in a relegation battle, I would say, with the exception of Villa, because I think they're on 35 points. Once you get to that 40 points, you know you were right. So it's a big game. We was a big up Vieira. I would love to see you turn it around. Shout out to you. But against Everton, we've already been charity FC. I don't want to see us give to charity anymore. Sunday and today against Sporting, we need to handle business. Mikel Arteta is determined to continue fighting on 2 fronts and is expected to name a strong team for this last 16 clash. Gabriel Jesus is pushing for his first start since November. The Brazilian injured his knee playing at the World Cup and made his comeback on Sunday for the final 13 minutes of the 3-0 win at Fulham. Arsenal are aware that he cannot play a full game yet, but Arteta is weighing up starting the striker and giving him an hour. Arteta, I knew you're my guy. This is what I've been talking about all week. Give him that 45 minutes an hour. We take him off, minutes in the legs, we go again. And to be honest, we need to manage Gabriel Jesus and everybody else that bit better, because now we've known right now Eddie Nketiah is in a protective boot, him and Trossard. Trossard, who's actually been struggling with injuries and ironically was scheduled to be back after the international break. Fortunately for us and unfortunately for Fulham, he wasn't. So we'll have to see. We've already seen them comments. I'm not going to go over them for a 55th time. The Gunners reached the Europa League semi-finals in 2021. However, that was when the fans could not attend games. Their last European knockout with supporters was February 2020. Oh, my days. Against Olympiacos. And I think there's one lesson against Olympiacos that we haven't learned. Kill the game in the first leg. That Olympiacos game was jarring. Shout out Koscielny for letting us down against Atletico Madrid, you absolute bottler. Anyways. So, yeah, we're going to have to see what's going on. And to be honest, I don't care about who Sporting Lisbon are missing. Clearly, they're missing a lot of players, people. They're missing a lot of players, but it's irrelevant. It really is irrelevant. Obviously, Morita, Quartes won't be there. They're going to have to get on with it. Apparently, the sporting gaffer said we gave almost everything that we had in the first leg, but I believe that the players can always do better. If Arsenal speed things up even more, we will have another gear of defending and attacking. We are capable of that. Football matches are not won on paper; they're won on a training ground. Well, they're won on the training ground all weekend, and they're won at football pitches. So we can't underestimate anybody, really and truly. Appreciate you lot. Make sure you're smashing the like button. We'll get into the transfer news in just a jiffy. I just want to make sure we're on task of everything. Let me go on Google and make sure we're not missing out anything. I think we're all tired of hearing about Declan Rice, really, if you're completely honest, man. And at this point, Declan Rice, there's no point. I don't want to see your name until you've actually signed for Arsenal Football Club. It's getting boring now, ain't it? Nonetheless, it is what it is. What are you lot saying? You should hear what some fans scream at Arteta when we are up goals and he leaves Saka on. Saka needs to be rested. I mean, Saka's the man. Obviously, logically, Saka needs to be rested. He's played a lot of games this season. Historically, he's played a lot of games for Arsenal Football Club. He is going to be rested. We do need to be a bit cute and clever. But if and that is my opinion, like a lot of you. But on the flip side, if he's been signed off, if we've managed his workload, if he's had his rehab after games well enough, he's ready to go again. And also, the man has said, I don't want to rest. I want to play, really. And I'm not being funny. It's the last. What are we resting Saka for? You're going to rest in the international break. If anything, even though we're fighting for the league, allegedly, I'd rather rest you against Crystal Palace, which I'm not for either. Just because, with Crystal Palace's form, we should have enough without Saka. I don't believe in any of that. We're in the last 16. We're in the knockout stages. We're 90 minutes from going, excluding added on time, from going through or out. On paper, we should be able to beat Sporting without Saka. But you make us stronger. Exactly that. Even when Saka's not even had the best of games in the last 2 games, he has still affected it. You go and look at his play in the build-up to one of the goals at Fulham. You go and look at Saka and Fabio Vieira earning the corner to the first goal that we scored. Obviously, Saka and Xhaka have forced the error to obviously lead that own goal. What we rested Saka for? It's in or out. You, Jesus, come off the bench, can't go on the bench after if we wrap up the game. But then again, yeah, of course he does need rest, but bro, rest for what? If this is the territory we're in, if this is a must-win Champions League game a year from now and a must-win game in the league a year from now, but we're going to talk about resting, man. I hear he does need resting, but man need to play. Xavi Simons don't really need him. We've got Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Vieira. I hear that, but I'd always make an exception. That game was pure pain. Timmy Cash ruined Bellerin. Who hasn't ruined Bellerin? Big up, DJ. It's my birthday. Shout out to you in the circle. Happy birthday, man. Tuning in and eating prime rib for lunch. Arsenal tonight. Win easy. Be a lovely day. I think Arsenal are playing on my birthday as well, provided we go through April the 13th. Damn. Regarding concern about Bakayo playing so much and there being no replacement, others have mentioned Trossard on the right, which seems to be a good option. Your thoughts on Martinelli on the right? I mean, Martinelli fans used to say, oh, he can't play on the right. He can't play on the right until he went over there against United. I think we lost the game. He did all right. If you can play on the left, you should be able to play on the right if you're half decent. Trossard seems the bit of the cuter of players. So if Jesus is now back, obviously you've got Trossard there. So why not? Jesus can also play out wide if you were to have Eddie fit, but it's not that thing. So yeah, man, I think there's options to get around it. Madrid basically won the Champions League last season, bringing Rodrigo and Camara off the bench. Shows why you need a squad. We'd like to see Trossard on the right as well a few times. But wasn't Arsene Wenger? I'm sorry, not Arsene Wenger. Wasn't Mikel Arteta signed on deadline day or something, and he didn't have his medical when he was a player? Do you prefer us to engage on Twitch or YouTube? Doesn't bother me, man. Both, mate. Both, ideally. Both, man. Whatever it is. Edu out. Well, boy, it's a good thing we're not listening to you. What a username, man. Should Koza Jury go on loan next season? It's up to him if he wants to play first team football, really. Potentially. Beat Sporting, enjoy United or Roma and watch the capitulation. Boy, I'd leave you to do the future telling, man. It is what it is in that regards. Don't appear that there's anything new here in that regards, folks. Okay. How is that helping us today? Our front, anyways, away from that. Our front line is looking mad. I've dreamt of times like this for so long. And I might be being greedy, but I'd like to bring another one. Plus, Saka ain't going to start a full 90. He'll be off at 60. There you have it. Arsenal being elite means the Arsenal drip is going to cost an arm and a leg. Now, all football kits, regardless, are going to cost a madness. The great thing about Arsenal's attackers is that they are fluid and can play across the front three. Exactly. If you're 100% to play, you play any game. Players will want to start every game. I mean, Mikel Arteta said it a few games ago. Bro, if you want to play for Arsenal, you need to be able to play 3 games a week, 3 games in 10 days. Of course, players need to be rested. Do you think the 06 kit will ever be remade? You'd have to ask them, man. I don't know. I would play Saka till we get back up, keep him sharp, happy and sweet. Oh, I'm not being funny, you know. Someone's got to go in or out of this competition. So start your strongest team and then pull players off. If we play exactly and the game goes exactly like it did against Fulham, which it probably won't, but the same sort of things we want to see, pull these players off. Really and truly. You think Arteta doesn't know more than others that Saka needs a rest or 10? Come on, man. Realistically. I'm sure if he could, he would. But we need 3 points. First and foremost. Apologies for any technical difficulties we're going over. It seems that I'm frozen at this moment in time, which is a bit jarring. Let me wait a bit. Might have to leave and come back. So it's jarring. 1 second, folks. Let me leave and come. Back again. Don't know what happened there, but nonetheless, Mikel Arteta has less Arsenal starts than Koscielny. It's good for him, man. If you want to play for Arsenal, you must play. Arteta hardly played. Well, doesn't mean it, doesn't mean he doesn't know what he's talking about, really and truly. And considering Mikel Arteta as an FA Cup winner as a player, I think he knows a thing or two about starting for the club. But I'll leave you to do whatever. Totally cold on Rice myself. Why? That's a bit harsh. If we're linked with Simons, bring him to the carpet. We saw how good he was against us in the group stages. The more quality players, the better for the team. Amen. Again, if Mikel Arteta wants him, that's enough for me. Please, people, any opinions, make sure you're commenting, make sure you're subscribing, make sure you've turned on your reminders on YouTube and Twitch, because 7 p.m. we're watching Arsenal versus Sporting, people. Hopefully it's a positive one where Arsenal are concerned. Again, the Europa League, there's been some good memories. Apart from not excluding winning it, but there's been some good memories. There's also been the Olympiacos, the Villarreal for me. Olympiacos, Villarreal, Chelsea. I'm definitely missing one at Atletico Madrid. Sometimes we've been a bit immature over 2 legs. 3-1 Arsenal, I'll take that. Smash the likes, people, and subscribe. Road to 100k. I think the crowd are going to be vital, man. Hopefully we can get at them and just ask questions, man. Again, if we could put 2 or so past them, then they're going to have to come out and engage with us. And if they open up against us, it could be brazy. Typically, though, slyly, pardon me, we've conceded more silly goals and made games harder than they need to be at home versus away more historically. Away from home, what? Sporting, I'd say Sporting Villa. There's definitely one more. The only away games we've really made tougher than they need to be. Slyly to a slight degree Leeds, to a slight degree Wolves away as well, I would say. At home, you've got Man United, you've got Liverpool, you've got several games really. Xavi Simons over Vieira all day, by the way. United mentioned that. Zubamendi, Caicedo, Milinkovic-Savic, Rice at those prizes. But, 3 of those players can play as a 6. Can Milinkovic-Savic play as an adequate 6 for all of his physical quality? I somewhat doubt it. So it's a bit of a different one. He's more likely to line up in Xhaka's role than the other way around. Off topic, but in a world where there is Camavinga, Pedri, Musiala, and Gavi, how is Bellingham seen as the best? I mean, because Bellingham's good as well, but who sees him as the best? I don't know where that. When you lot say things, general statements, where do you lot see these things? What right mid do you think we should get? I think that Don from Napoli would be perfect competition for Saka. It seems like he's better off the left side central areas, but bring him. Bournemouth at home as well. Dramatics. What else have we got? Big up DG. What's your lineup for tonight's game? Oh, well, we spoke about this yesterday, and I think there's a timestamp somewhere, but nonetheless, probably something along the lines of that, really. I do think I would start Zinchenko. I do think Partey could be dropped out for Jorginho, but I'd like to name our strongest team. I think you could get away with Nelson instead of Saka, Jorginho next to Xhaka, even though we saw it weren't the most combative midfield. You probably need to give Ben White a night off if you could. But then again, Saka plays a lot better with Benjamin White. I could understand if Jesus plays. I can understand if he doesn't. You could argue Martinelli's Mr. Decisive. He needs to play. But I'd probably go Rams. Shout out Turner as well, but and Kyrgios, because you'll probably do better at home. But just based on it, respecting the competition and judging it for what it is, about a 90-minute game, Ramsdale, Tierney, Gabriel Saliba, White/Tomiyasu, Xhaka, Partey, Fabio Vieira, even though I would prefer Odegaard. No disrespect to you, Fabio. It's just Odegaard's better than you. Trossard deserves to play match winner at this moment in time. We're going to have to watch him and Jesus closely. Trossard, Jesus, and Bukayo Saka. But there is cases for Odegaard, for Smith Rowe, for actually Kyrgios to maybe get another start, for Matt Turner and any other players I've said that haven't quite been specific there, man. Shout yourself, Riley, man. Szoboszlai for me, great player technically, not really done much. I'm still apprehensive about Vieira. If Odegaard was ruled out for the rest of the season, not sure he's up for it. I mean, that's why you've got Emil Smith Rowe as well. Jorginho for Xhaka, that could be something, but it's a must-win game. Xhaka's somewhat anything close to a mentality monster at Arsenal, and I'm not gonna lie, not that Xhaka has missed too many games, but the one couple of appearances he hasn't been there, if there has been many, you do see it being missed. So I'm playing granite, to be fair with you, man. Strong side tonight for 60 minutes. God willing, we get 2 goals ahead. Looks like Jesus has been training for longer than we think. Defo ready for a 60-minute cameo. What else have we got? You rating the RBU. Leverkusen, good player. But 70, 80 million? I'm not convinced, really. Good player with a fantastic future. But I'd keep one of Zini or Odegaard for today's game. So would I, kind of thing, really. But Zini didn't have the best of games against Sporting. He did get back to his usual best in the last game, but you get the point. If you haven't smashed the like button, smash the like button. YouTube, you're doing me dirty, man. You know, every like button helps the YouTube algorithm grow. If you've hit the like button already, I appreciate it. But there's 200 of you odd locked in, and there's 83 likes, man. Unexpected high bills due. Twitch gang, you just keep doing what you're doing. One love, JPB, for that resubscription, man. It means a lot. And a first-time chat from yourself as well, man. Is what it is. Nah, Szoboszlai's a baller. I'm just waiting for a bit more. Like, you're playing in the Champions League. I expect you to be a baller. Technically brilliant. He's a baller, but there's got to be something a bit more. You look better out wide. Not that you look better out wide, but you don't look like you're going to dominate a game in the middle of the park. You look like one of them inverted kind of playmakers, if that makes sense. He's wavy, but I expect you to be wavy, innit? I'd only play Zini if Partey and Gabriel are out there. Do you check out PSG's academy in the north? Did you check out? No, I haven't. You know, shout out London Parisian. He's got to give me the invite. We're going to smash Sporting tonight. Let's hope so. It's your birthday, lad. So I hope so. But we can't disrespect Sporting Lisbon and think they're just going to rock up here and roll over. Really, if you're Sporting, it's the fear of the unknown. If Arsenal win, you should be fearless. If Arsenal win, it's not going to sell too many papers. It's business as usual. If Arsenal go out, boy, it is what it is. I know some fans will start flipping and saying, well, we can focus on the league and I think that's a loser mentality, but fair enough. I'd take Xavi Simons any day. Amen. I would have said Zini for Xhaka, but if Tierney plays, needs someone, I think you mean, to cover that area. And that might be a case to not play Kyrgios, as Gabriel is more aggressive. You know, I hear that, Carville. Do you know what it is with Kyrgios? In one hand, I want to start him. You know, I think you'll do it. We have to give faith in it. You can't just because you looked a bit rubbed in your first game doesn't mean you shouldn't play. And obviously, I think it will be a different game. Then against Sporting away, I think we'll have a lot more of possession. I think we'll be a lot sharper. I think the crowd will G him up, the home crowd and all of that. Not that the travelling fans didn't do that. So there's every reason. But at the same time, as I said, our backs are against the wall. We're into a corner now. We need to go through it out. If there's a gun being put to my head, you lot's head, Arteta's head, God forbid, are you going to play Kyrgios? Someone said, I'm going to blow your brains out if you don't get 3 points. Is Kyrgios going to be in that team? No. We need to sometimes respect the competition, not saying that anyone's disrespecting it. We've got 5 subs. If anything, people can come off. Gabriel is a man for the trenches, man. I need to get back to the Emirates, but I've never been one for match day vlogs. You lot have been getting on to me for time. When I'm there, I like to enjoy the game, man. When I used to do that, it used to be we record comments before the game, at halftime, and then after. I'll never be one of them. Yeah, bro. Like people can do what they want, but I don't personally, I'm enjoying the moment, innit? I'm not going to be getting my phone out and going, and all that nonsense, really. DG, never really asked your opinion on Edwards of Lisbon. What do you think of the ex-Spurs Academy plays? Wavy, I like him a lot. Should be playing in the Premier League. Saka will definitely play for England. It will be a fatigue problem for him, a bit of a worry. I can't lie, man. We need to do what Alex Ferguson used to do, so some of his players get them, fake injuries and stuff like that. Can't lie. If I'm completely honest with you. Marquinhos got shagged with his red card. He went to head the ball and his elbow touched the player's face. Joke. Do you think we need to worry about Palace with our selection tonight? International break is going to be a stretch for Saka. We do need to obviously have one eye on Crystal Palace, of course, bro, but we need to respect this competition, respect Sporting and what's in front of us. In August, we knew this was a thing. So we need to get with it, really. We need to deal with what's in front of us. In both games, really, in theory, Saka shouldn't be able to play both of them, and we should be able to win, really, just because I back my players in this game against Sporting, and the way Crystal Palace are at the moment, you should, but we need to be a bit cute and a bit clever. You hope Saka is rested for the international break. You know he's going to get called up by England. I hope he doesn't. Apparently, Benjamin White isn't. Hope he doesn't. And I don't like the international break purely because it seems like somebody always picks up a knock when it's us, innit? So we'll have to see. 103 likes. If you've hit that like button, come on. They look lackluster last night. They're struggling to score goals, man. A man said, have to share the moment. The unexpected high bills has me using streams. What's up, DG? What's your take on Kyrgios loan at the end of the season or keep him as a bench player? A bit harsh, man. Like, he's just joined. In a nice way, I can see why you're not starting right now, because you look a bit over based on the only sample size I can comment on, look a bit overawed. Look, not that you didn't look confident, looked a bit shy, a bit timid. Obviously, football doesn't matter about what language you speak in that, but it does at the same time, look like he was having a communicational issue with some of his teammates. Look like obviously he doesn't understand the game that some of his team play. Obviously, he joined the team that he played it in a team for Sporting that there was a lot of changes, so that's going to kill the balance. And it's almost a debut in fire, in the sense of you're away from home and things. But these are the things you need to learn. I don't think you're ready to start at this moment in time, but you joined in Jan, clearly got some good qualities. I don't think you're anywhere near Gabriel's spot for that left back spot, but let's just see you develop. I'm not saying he's going to be like Odegaard, but Odegaard was written off after a tough January period. So just keep going, really. Did like the reaction from Saliba. Saliba was the Gabriel to Kyrgios in the same way. Gabriel has to be somewhat the slightly older brother to Saliba when they're both playing. I think Gabriel has some mistakes in him at times, but I don't think, when Saliba's in great form, which he is and still is, and a great player, everybody's singing it from the rooftops. I don't think Gabriel equally gets the same amount of praise he deserves, man, because he's been really good of late as well, personally, I feel. So, yeah, man, backs against the wall. I want my first choice centre-back pairing personally. But we're going to need Kyrgios, what centre-back options, when you break it down, what centre-back options do we have? We've got the young Saliba and Gabriel, pick them up. Kyrgios come into the fray. Benjamin White can go over there if you're going to play Tomiyasu right back. Tomiyasu could also, if you're going to put Benjamin White back to centre-back, you can put Tomiyasu centre-back, and I believe that should be our fifth choice. Then you've got Holding, so it's probably peak for Holding, but I wouldn't loan him anytime. So he just joined centre mid, lad. The fact Ramsdale is England's third choice keeper is mad. The other two are dead. Boy, Southgate's a madman. Big up DJ's Prince Teddy. Just want to say thank you for inspiring me to start my own YouTube channel. Can never say that, man. You inspired yourself, man, but I appreciate that nonetheless. Hope Arsenal doesn't bail out Palace. Paddy's job looking sticky, bro. I don't want to see any charity points given out against Crystal Palace. They struggle to score goals. They're struggling to win indirectly. If, as I said earlier, anything from 12th to 30th, from 12th to 20th, you're fighting relegation, get onto him. Kyrgios is a class player and shouldn't be judged over just one game. He will cook when he's acclimatized to Arteta ball. He's a better ball player than Gabriel and Saliba at our cap. That we don't need to. I agree with everything else. Big up yourself, but it is cap, man. I don't think he's necessarily better on the ball than both of them. You're a ball player in centre half, so come and show what you're bringing to the table. You should be able to play in the same way Saliba, Gabriel, and Kyrgios. I'm not necessarily amazed with their ball playing ability. You should be able to do that. That's what Mikel Arteta wants. It's like if we sign a striker that plays like Gabriel Jesus with what Arteta wants, should be able to do that. You wouldn't be here if we didn't. Should be looking for a Premier League proven striker in the summer Who would you like in that position? I mean, if you was talking about Premier League proven, Ivan Toney, but he's going to cost an arm and a leg. Also, you've got the thingy, man. The potential fine and stuff that he could be going through. Holding needs a championship move, prove himself over a full season. I mean, what you see is what you get at this point with him now. He's a good player. Kyrgios wouldn't be here if he wasn't a good player. His long balls are perfect, to be honest. We saw that versus Arsenal and Chelsea. I can't lie. Someone that watched that under-21s game, I think he did well. I think people are overdoing it. And once again, I'm not belittling him with that. You should be able to do that. I'm not really excited by that. You know, it's good that you've got that passing range. Should be able to do that. If we're looking at our first attacker is Ramsdale. And our first defender is Gabriel Jesus. If we're building up from the back, we should have centre-backs with passing range and that. Fair enough. And it looks more of a mental thing than anything, really, because he didn't really display that passing range against Sporting Lisbon. It's cool doing that against little youngers and that. And again, communication, as he gets to grips with the English language and his teammates, he'll look a lot better. Again, in his debut, probably let himself down from that set piece where it appears that he's ducking under that header. I don't like that. Regardless of if he's heard a call from Matt Turner, he should deal with it. But maybe Turner said something and he's not interpreted it right. So again, communication is a big thing. But Kyrgios shown he can play in a back four, in a back three. You know, in terms of what we're looking at in players, you should be able to do that, really. So I'm not going to praise you for being able to do that. And also defenders need to be able to defend. It doesn't make sense to loan out Kyrgios. But what I would say is you can see why at the moment Mikel Arteta has been a bit reluctant to use him. Be nice if he got shown a lock of faith playing today. But if it was up to me, it's nothing to do with Kyrgios. It's just I want to go through to the next round. So I have to do the best for the collective. And if it's a must-win game, we're in or out of this competition, I just believe you should play your strongest centre-halves. Hit the like button. Shout out Stylish. But yeah, man, we'll see what's going on. Who are you starting versus Palace on Sunday? We need to deal with what's in front, but off the top of my head, Martin Odegaard in no order. Martin Odegaard, Ramsdale, Gabriel, Saliba, Zinchenko, Benjamin White, Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, if I haven't made that clear, Partey and Granit Xhaka, Trossard as well. And then, you know, it all depends with Jesus, really. I'm inclined to believe Jesus will be on the bench at Crystal Palace, but I'd love to see him start. I don't think you can remove Martinelli or Trossard, so maybe Jesus on the bench. On one hand, I think I want Jesus and I want Trossard, but then at the same time, Martinelli and Jesus, I've missed that Brazilian link-up that they've had. Good problems. I'm inclined to believe Jesus will be on the bench for the next 2 games, if I'm honest with you, but it don't mean you can't come off and defend under pressure. It's more a mental thing. I'm not comparing him to Lokonga, but Lokonga looks a lot better at Crystal Palace. Not dramatically, but looks a lot better because he looks like he believes in himself a little bit more. Football is more of a mental game than people give it credit for. Shout out Els. Good afternoon, DJ in the nation. Can't wait for the match later. I'm going there. Safe journeys to everyone that's going, by the way. Again, watch along settings. You know what? I was going to snake you lot. You know, I did see tickets available. I was going to snake you lot and go myself. Thoughts on Jesus expected to start today? Bring it on, man. We've missed it. I would start Ramsdale today. Don't have 100% trust in Turner. Looks a bit timid. I mean, Turner's convinced me you're a good number 2. Like, I wasn't really sold on Matt Turner initially. I saw 1-2 things. Is like, all right, cool. I like you now. And I think in the World Cup, I was like, all right, you've done all right. And I think in his game against Man City, he did well as well. So, like, all right, cool. That being said, he's a bit of a player for me. I like him and he's cool as number 2. He does like 10 good things and then 5 shaky things. I think against Sporting, you know, distribution weren't the best. Looked a bit nervous sometimes collecting crosses, but he also did well across other aspects. But at the same time, for our squad players, it is very difficult expecting them to come into the team and just do a madness when you're not playing, really. We've seen that with Tierney. We've seen that with Tomiyasu. We've seen that with my man as well, Matt Turner. The only ones that have really done all right with little bit of minutes here and there is definitely Reece Nelson. He's probably substituted this season. Trossard as well, initially having to get little man minutes against Man United and that. And there's probably one more name. Even Tierney, if I didn't make that clear. Do you remember who did Tierney start against? Was it in the FA Cup against City? My word, Kieran Tierney had a shocker in that game. And I'm not even talking about getting ripped and whatnot. It's just the fact of he just looked raw, man. There's a reason he's USA's #1. Give him some time. Give him some time. Although when you look at that, the Brad Friedels and the Tim Howards of this world, every report that comes out of America is, oh my God, he needs to leave and play and whatnot. I like Turner. Turner's, bro, it's hard to find guys that, not saying Turner wants to sit on the bench, and if Ramsdale's messing about, then he will get a chance. But it's hard to find people that quote unquote want to sit on the bench. It's hard to find number 2s. He's gone. I do think against Sporting, he was trying to do too much of them passes that Ramsdale does. Just do what you're doing. Do you think Tierney has a future with us? I think he does, but he don't want one, does he? Necessarily, if he wants to go and leave. Yeah, Turner's kicking is the one that's a madness. The game's not based on sympathy. I got no sympathy for no one. Like, I've got sympathy for all these players. My heart bleeds for all of them, but we're not here to make friends. We're here to win things. If life was fair, everyone, including you and me, would have a lot less. If football was fair, a lot of these players that have helped us get 3 points playing week in, week out would have a lot less because everyone would get an equal amount of minutes. USA #1, but how many goalkeepers are even in contention? Good #2, though. Don't even know, man. What they got? Stefan, he's all right. They got Turner. I'm sure they got that young American at Chelsea coming up, the goalie. He'll be all right, but I don't know how many men are challenging for that #1 spot with America. You lot are harsh, man. You lot are difficult to please, man. Very tough customers. That goal versus Sporting where the guy headed it, where Turner started slapping the middle of his 6 area, was very concerning. Turner didn't even have a man on him. Charlie is true, but that's where I'm vexed at Kyrgios and Turner, and that's where I'm going with. They've never played with each other. I don't know their understanding of each other. It's a different back five. Anyone that's played Sunday League football, communication, especially in your back five, is a madness. From Kyrgios, I would have preferred to have seen him head it out, attack it, be aggressive. Then, if anything, shout at his goalie. If anything, I would have liked to have seen Turner command that. There was and I kind of said that earlier. There was a couple of times Matt Turner did well, but under no pressure, he's moving a bit shaky and. Again, it was a poor sequence of errors, but Sporting second goal, he's the last line of defense. So before you ask questions of Turner, you got to look at everyone else. But he slapped it into the path of their man. And I also think Turner, whether he's told his man to leave it or not, keepers are mad bastards. You go out, you take everything, even if that's your teammate, anyone, you take it all. That's what I wanted to see better from both of them. And if I'm harsh, that's where I wanted, neither player's done well. But what I would say, whether it's that game, whether it's Manchester United, it should have been offside. But whether it's Brentford, whether it's Bournemouth, we've let ourselves down frequently this season in terms of set pieces. And also we've done well from it, defended well, obviously scored some goals from set pieces. We need to get back. Kyrgios was expecting the keeper to get it, similar to that goal versus Villarreal, where I forget who our defender ducked, expecting Leno to claim it. But that's true. But as I just said, bro, like, if you're playing Sunday League, like, I'm a right back. I definitely don't like heading. Anyone that knows me, I do not like heading. But if that's me, and there's a realistic chance I'm going to head it, if I hear the keeper call it, I'm not going to wait for it. I'm going to deal with it. Then if I get taken out, and I expect my keeper to punch me in my face, take everything, really, and we deal with that. Or you get incidences like that, really. And then you can shout at me after and whatnot. It's completely different. But as a fullback, Robertson's, I don't care because I support Arsenal. But Martinelli's goal against Fulham, I was happy we scored. But from a neutral point of view, I was vexed at Robertson because you're just waiting for Martinelli to head it. You're taught as a fullback, especially for taller players, just jump up, even with your elbows. Even in that split second, if Martinelli thinks, oh my God, he's going to knock my tooth out, the goal's prevented. Sometimes you need to be proactive. And once again, neither player has been a regular. They've never played with each other before. We've kind of been a bit shambolic from set pieces anyway. So there are some taxes I'll give them, but fundamentally, it weren't good enough. Even Ramsdale's held some L's, against Man United. He didn't do well enough from was it the second goal they scored? I think Lisandro Martinez scored from a corner, if I remember correctly. Against Bournemouth, Partey's lost his runner. And it's not just them. There's many times these things have happened. Hesitation gets you killed, bro. It gets you killed, bro. But there are times, obviously, you need to listen to the call because equally, Kyrgios could have took it upon himself and it could have still led to a goal. Turner could have come out and collected, like I'm saying, and completely missed it. I don't know, man. Terrible defending for that. But that's where we need to get better. If Trossard on the right wing performs good enough, Saka can get a break sometimes just to minimize the chance of injury and keep him fresh. Make sure you mark your man on 1v1s. We do the zonal thing, innit? And I do think not Arsenal necessarily, but in today's day and age, especially with and Arsenal have actually scored some goals from it as well, even against Fulham. I think with these, I don't think footballers are as focused this day and age, because you don't have to be. When you've got that and you're defending, doing zonal marking, a lot of players just think, you know what, I'm covering my area, it's done really. And you saw Gabriel free runner. One thing I like about our set pieces, obviously they disallowed it against Leicester, but actually Benjamin White's involvement on the keeper. But make sure you do the basics. Ramsdale needs to play today to secure it. Turner is good, but not for today. We were out early of the Cat Yaba and FA Cup. At this stage of the season, these backup players won't get much game time. Boy, well, looks like Son was right. Everybody said Tierney had a good game against City in the FA Cup, but he wasn't that good. He lacked game time. I don't think Tierney had a good game against City in the FA Cup. From what I can remember, bro, his first touch was shoddy. He just looked rusty, like he ain't played in 10 years, really. Like he had bricks in his boots. I like Tierney, clearly, but yeah. I hope Jesus starts today, man, but we need to probably be a bit smart with him. Everyone has forgotten about Pepe. Do you think we should try to bring him back into the fold as a squad player next season if we're back in the Champions League? Big up, bro. I mean, in theory, you could, he's in terms of technical level, he's got something. But if that was to happen, bro, it would have been this season, right? It's done. He's on big money, probably not going to get anything close to a significant fee. Contracted for another year. I can never say it's done. I would love for him to get a new lease of life. Look like the Pepe he was brought here to have, but it's done now, bro. It's done. Like, it's done. If Arteta didn't keep you this season when, I know we brought in some players, but there was a point where we didn't even really have any attackers to bring on, really. It's just now that Nelson has stayed fit and Ketia actually as well, we've brought in Trossard. Options look a bit more sexier, but he's not there. And I think it's not even about Pepe's ability, because he has played under Mikel Arteta. I think it's how good you are at your worst. And I think I don't think Arteta trusts his Pepe from a tactical point of view and a technical point of view. There is a lot of immaturities in his game. Plus, he's not his player. So it's not really, when it's not your big money signing, you don't really need to persist. You saw it with Arteta. He tried to persist with Willian. It didn't bang. It's not really your man. You say, boy, you was here from the last regime. Xhaka was as well, but I want to use Xhaka. I don't want to use you. Jesus has spent the whole season last season in City as a right winger. Thought he did not like that. He can play at right wing. I'm sure he doesn't, but if the game demands him to play over there, then I'm sure Jesus will put his own personal opinions aside for the greater collective good. You were brought to Arsenal to play as a striker. You've played significantly as a striker. You'll continue to play significantly as a striker, but there will be some times, and not just him, people have to do jobs for the team. You think Saka liked playing left back? You think Saka, when he liked playing left back? No, this is how you get into the team. You've got a job to do. Fabio Vieira has consistently said, yo, I like playing number 10. If Arteta says play right wing, do that, or you might not play. I'm sure if you ask Emil Smith-Rowe, where would you like to play? He'd probably say 10. Playing left wing got you playing games. Do what you need to do, really and truly. I'm going to need to see Vinali tonight. I would sell Reece Nelson and Eddie. Well, you can't sell Nelson. At this moment in time, his deal's running down. Both very good players, but we're an elite club that needs elite players. Now, if you don't bring elite players in, I wouldn't sanction selling them yet. Pepe having knee problems in France. It's done, bro. It's gone, bro. Martinelli, Trossard, and Jesus up front would be lit, man. Facts over feelings, man. But for me, if you're going to let Tierney go and all these guys go, make sure you've got players in it. That's all I care about. Make sure you've got players. Then you do what you want. And we need to show we can sell well in the summer as well, really. Realistically, what fee are you're not in a position to get a fee for Nelson. What fee are you going to get for Eddie? Probably need to get a conservative one. You know what? If Arsenal were going to buy more curtain raisers and they said, you know what, we'll give Nelson a new deal, sell him, Eddie, Balogun, who else did you say there? Whoever else could potentially leave, we're going to buy some bad boys, fair enough. Why not? But we do need to, man. And the better we get as a football club, the more harsher decisions are going to have to be made. Time and time again. People that play week in, week out this season, for argument's sake, I'm not saying it, but for argument's sake, just to play devil's advocate, as good as Gabriel is, as we get better and better, might have to cut out, get a centre-back with less sort of mistakes in them. Maybe that extends to Ramsdale. Maybe you need to upgrade on Granit Xhaka. Maybe you need to find a left-back that can do what Zinchenko does to a greater standard. maybe you look at Jesus and say, you might have to become a squad player because we need someone that can do what you do plus goals. So we'll have to see, man. Don't know if you have covered this, but what is your prediction for the rest of the league games? I don't know how I could be expected to do that because a week is a long time in football. It's a highly emotional sport. We've seen even games that should be straightforward victories, like potentially Aston Villa away and Bournemouth and things like that. We've had to, and it's slightly based on how we played Brighton and Wolves, but they've been left. So how do I know, man? What I would say is, it's another big week where you could advance to the next round of the Europa League, and tomorrow we will be watching it. That will only be on Twitch, people, in relation to the draws for the Champions League and the Europa League, and obviously end this month on a high of sorts, people, by beating Crystal Palace, extending the gap allegedly at the top of the table. I don't look at the league table. Some tough games, man. Some very tough games, but you need to be beat. As I said, I think until the Liverpool game, honestly, we need to go unbeaten. You need to beat Leeds at home. You need to beat Crystal Palace. I believe after Leeds, you then have Liverpool away. They only have the league to focus on. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I swear they went out of the FA Cup. The League Cup is done. Yeah. You know, we've got some big games to play. We got to welcome Chelsea to our place. We got to go to Anfield. We got to go to the Etihad. We got to go to Newcastle. Got to do some things, man. I don't see us getting 3 points at Anfield or the Etihad. If we're not going to do it this year, then we never will. They're two grounds we don't travel well enough, really. To be fair, we don't travel that well to Goodison Park, to St. Mary's or Old Trafford, and we kind of follow the same theme. But we're going to have to, especially the Etihad, because I don't think there is, mathematically there is, but I don't think there is a world where you could pip City to the league title without taking at least 3 points off them. I'd love to be wrong, but yeah, man. If I'm completely honest, get the likes up, people, and subscribe. Road to 100k. South London's finest. You're way too kind. So yeah, man, keep your opinions flowing and whatnot. Keep smashing the like button and all that good stuff, people. Let's actually see what the transfer news is now saying. Let's kick that on. 1 hour, 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Transfer news. Let's make that timestamp. Where do we start? Let's start here. Fair enough. Has the screen changed? No, it hasn't. Yes, it has now. 35 million La Liga midfielder is dreaming about joining Arsenal. Arsenal, Manchester United, Real Madrid have all been linked with a move, and Chelsea actually, to sign Gabriel Veiga recently, but the Celta Vigo sensation dreams of joining only one of those three clubs. The 20-year-old, who is naturally an attacking midfielder, is having a fine campaign in Spain. I think as he gets older, he'll end up as a deep line playmaker. He has 8 goals and provided 3 assists in 17 starts, and he is attracting interest from numerous clubs across Europe. Spanish journalist Manu Sanz has shared the latest on his situation. Reports from Spain revealed that at the end of last month, that Arsenal and Manchester United are both keen to sign Veiga this summer. European champions Real Madrid are also interested in the 20-year-old, with another outlet claiming Carlo could make a player plus cash offer to sign him. I mean, at 20 years of age, does it make sense you going over there right now? They might get Jude Bellingham. They've got Valverde. They've got Tchouaméni. They've got Camavinga. Still on paper, Modric and Toni Kroos. What's game time going to be saying there? Can't begrudge you for joining them, but yeah. And who knows? They might even keep Ceballos or Asensio, or one of the two. So yeah, apparently he's got 3 years left on his deal. He has a £35 million release clause. You'd imagine his club would probably be in talks to give him a new deal and increase that. You'd imagine, while that is pennies for clubs and they'll pay that if they can, if they think they could, you'd imagine clubs will probably try and negotiate for cheaper than that, people. That's not a lot that's not a lot of money for clubs like Real Madrid and Man United, but Sainz has revealed that the player's dream is not to play for either of those clubs. The journalist claimed on his Twitch that Veiga dreams of playing for Arsenal. The Gunners are apparently his favorite club outside of Spain, and that is good news for the North Londoners. Well, I mean, bring him and Zubamendi in it. Bring that Spanish influence. You know, we've got young players in our squad. Probably need someone more ready for now, but bring that, because I think in a couple of years everyone will be waffling about you. We've seen this already about Smith Rowe. There's no point wasting time on that or that. Liverpool could rival Arsenal for transfer of classy Bundesliga attacker Julian Brand, who famously Klopp wanted over Salah. But who is that? What's his name again, man? Michael Edwards famously banged on about Mohamed Salah, and it's fair to say it worked out. Liverpool are reportedly alongside Arsenal and other top Premier League clubs in eyeing up Borussia Dortmund attacking midfielder Julian Brandt. The German international has shone in the Bundesliga and is nearing the final year of his Dortmund contract with uncertainty over where he'll be playing next season. According to 90 Minute, Dortmund are confident of tying Brandt down to a new contract, but it seems the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, City and Newcastle are monitoring the 26-year-old situation. Wonderful player, lovely technical, gifted level and stuff like that. I just think you're soft, so it's a no from me. If you sign, I'm with it, really. Brandt can operate in a variety of attacking midfield positions and could add some spark to the struggling Liverpool side, who surely need a major rebuild. Arsenal could also do well to improve their depth in that area of the pitch, with the Gunners having a strong starting 11, but sometimes struggling when they have to rotate. As things stand, Arsenal would probably be the more tempting destination for Brandt than Liverpool, with Mikel Arteta's side looking all but certain to be in next season's Champions League. But there's German influence over them sides, so I'm not too sure. So Alex Ferguson has said, I'm not interested in, when asked if who would he prefer out of Arsenal and City. Boy, shout out to Ferguson. They got you in the cold, watch your team get sore 7-0 after you knocked them boys off their porch. Man divided. They said Dele Alli was better than Mesut Ozil. He's going out worse than Mesut Ozil did in Turkey. Man got banished from the Besiktas squad. Man. Meaty brothers. But anyways, Declan Rice to Arsenal transfer theory emerges. Move for number one target plunged into doubt. Apparently, Lee Dixon is not convinced that the Gunners will pursue West Ham midfielder Declan Rice this summer. What have you said? I don't think Arsenal will pay 100 million. I don't think he's worth 100 million, to be honest. I think West Ham are going to want even more than that. I mean, he's got a year left on his deal and an option of an extension. By all means, Arsenal go over Declan Rice. But if you can't, Caicedo. If you can't get Caicedo, Zubamendi, Joe Bloggs, whoever, just make sure midfield, specifically a number 6 and a number 8, have been addressed. Everyone can't get everyone. Big players are wanted by everyone. West Ham, if they want to pay hardball, it's a madness. I don't know who Arsenal are looking at, but based on the way they've recruited so far, I would suggest they've got a few alternatives. Just like the summer. I mean, this January, you couldn't get someone, you got in Jorginho. You couldn't get Mudryk, you got in Trossard. Make it happen. Maybe Rice is a bit of a smokescreen. They're not really that interested. I think he's a really good player, but I'm not convinced he'll be at Arsenal next season. So we'll have to see in relation to him, essentially, people. Once again, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United are reportedly interested in signing Dutch attacking midfielder Xavi Simons. A report from Spain claims the 19-year-old Dutch midfielder Xavi Simons is on the radar of Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man United. The 3 Premier League clubs look to make a move for him at the end of the season. He's been in fine form this season. He's actually, isn't there a buyback clause to have him going back over to PSG from PSV? He has 23 goal contributions, people, so far, and he's finally showing what he can in it. He's had he's played for some big clubs already. Been at Paris Saint-Germain, been at Barcelona, been everywhere, really. We've seen firsthand what he could do. I don't think his profile is really one that we need, but he can play out wide as well in central areas, and he's very much an Arsenal player. So if Arsenal did want to make it happen, why not? Apparently, Mikel Arteta needs more depth to his squad, and Simons would be a superb long-term addition. He can rotate with players like Saka, Martinelli, and Odegaard. The 19-year-old Dutchman is capable of playing as a central attacking midfielder as well as a winger. He will add creativity, goals, and flair to Arsenal's squad. A player of his quality will also help Arsenal break down stubborn defences, but the Gunners have also shown an interest in other attackers like Marco Asensio. And then obviously it's talked about Chelsea's need for him and all of these things, people. He has a contract until 2027, so they could demand a premium, although PSG could complicate those things, people. What's this? Real Madrid step up the move for Veiga as well. So you'd have to see how these things develop, folks. What's this? Apparently our former striker Edu recommends 18-year-old Brazilian wonder kid to Mikel Arteta. Would love Victor Ruig, but it seems like he's going Barcelona. Ruig is a great player. Victor Ruig is a great player. He has been a starting 11 player for Atletico Paranaense since he was 17. It's a great club who I had the pleasure of playing for. They develop great players. Top clubs in Europe also want him as well as Arsenal. Ruig has also been selected to be part of the Brazilian national team, so I hope Arsenal sign him, as I have no doubt that he'll help Arsenal achieve their objectives. We did hear Edu try the thing, but it didn't bang. He prefers a move to Barcelona. Fair enough. Go do your thing over them sides, man. Stress. I think he could long term, maybe not so much now. I wouldn't mind Noah Lang. I'm so happy we didn't get him. He's booked. We've been linked with Eden Hazard. If you lot believe that, take of that what you want. Probably a myth. Julian Brandt's been linked with us, although there's rumours he'll get an extension. Mikel Arteta is monitoring the development of Xavi Simons. Arsenal have slapped a 35 40 million pound price tag on Tierney. We're interested in João Paulinho. Ramsdale wants to be a legend at Arsenal. We've been linked with Jonathan David. We remain interested in Moussa Diaby. Allegedly, we're in contact with his agents and we're trying to work out a deal for all parties involved. And there's solid interest from Arsenal, as you can see here. We're interested in Sasha Boy of Galatasaray, the right back. Arteta prefers Zubamendi over Caicedo. We're interested in Deluded. Fabrizio Romano has ruled out a move for Victor Osimhen. Brighton, Nice, West Ham, Crystal Palace, a couple of clubs interested in Reece Nelson. More Asensio links. Villa have been thrown into the ring for Tierney. Once again, allegedly, we're still interested in Caicedo despite his new contract. We're interested in Locatelli, Myth, and teams are vying for Declan Rice. Yeah, but I don't want decent, bro. Listen, he's all right, but it's a myth. I don't want decent. Decent is Reece Nelson. If you're not better than what we got, unless it's a cute signing, forget all of that, man. No, Lang's all right. Good technical level and all that crap. But, bro, 23, he's not clear of nothing at this club. What's the point bringing him? Obviously, if he was to do a madness and really show uptake in performance, I'd be here for it. But I don't want decent, man. What's decent going to do for us? We need curtain raises now, especially in already crowded positions. DG, if we win the league last game of the season, can we get a DG phone call segment? Just you cooking your friends and a couple content creators. Why not if that was to be the case, people? But I do know I know for a fact, unless things change, I'm not going to be doing the last game of the season. I won't be doing a watch along. I will be back that evening to do a video, but I know I won't be doing a watch along. Would you say that the game versus City will be the game decider who's going to win the league? Yes and no. Obviously, you need to take some points off them, and they took points off us. But if you beat City, but you mess around in all the other games, it's irrelevant. That game against Bournemouth had one of my friends in tears after Nelson scored. Boy, I'd stay clear of predictions and just enjoy the season game by game and see how it goes. Hopefully win it. Yeah, exactly. Just take everything as it comes. Think it's a don't lose game at City. Sharing the points would be fine. Yeah, if you could walk away with a draw, I'm for that. We need to ship Eddie and bring back Balogun because dude seems super hungry, whilst Eddie seems too relaxed in the team when he should be on his toes. Bit harsh. How do we know any of this? Saw somewhere that Ben White might never get called up for England ever again under Southgate. Probably won't, but boy, I'm here for it. You know, that means our player can get rested. Fair enough, Southgate. It's time to go above our level now. Really enjoyed interacting with you like this and picking your brain. Thanks, bro, for this platform all the way from South Africa. Without you lot, the platform will be dead. You lot make it, people. It's lovely to hear you lot's opinions and all of those things, people. Don't forget to smash the like button on the vid and also set your reminders. Because after this, it's Sporting versus Arsenal, people. And on Sunday, we will be doing a watch-along for Crystal Palace. And one love to everyone who's been part of my Champions League watch-alongs yesterday and day before. Right, no point in bringing in players that don't take us up a level. I mean, some players are exception of the rule, but right wing, left wing, up front, it's already congested. So if we're not bringing in better than what we've got or genuine capacity to be better than what we've got, then what's the point? Like, it's nothing to do. It's not even a criticism, but it don't make sense. The flip-flopping on Eddie is mad. I don't think his mentality and hunger should be in question. It's just levels. I'd go with that, whether he's good enough or not. But I like Eddie's self-confidence. I think Lokonga could learn a lot from him. I like his mentality. Of course, naturally, there probably is elements of being complacent and stuff like that. And I think it's just a case of levels. But how? How could we say, like, I don't know how we can draw conclusions on people's attitudes and things, especially when we don't know them. And we don't know what Eddie's like as a person. We're drawing calculated assumptions, but we don't know. So we'll have to see. Let me see if there's anything else Arsenal related going on. Don't forget to check out the last stream I did across Twitch and YouTube with Matisse. Cut-out clips will be landing on the platform soon. Don't seem like there's anything. Nobody cares what Lewis Saha has to say. Boy, can't lie, the sack is looming for Patrick Vieira's peak. I hope that's not the case, but it could be peak. Don't sack him until we play, man. Because we saw what Sean Dyche did. Interested in Eden Hazard, man. How much time are they going to spin the Arsenal interest in Eden Hazard thing? There might be legitimate interest, but it doesn't make any sense to sign him. Arsenal are set to trigger a clause in Granit Xhaka's contract, which expires in 2024, to extend his deal by 12 months and keep him at the club until 2025. It's understood Arsenal want Xhaka to sign. We saw that a few days ago, and we've seen it. And again, we have to hold on to our experienced players, so that makes sense to be doing that. I think beating Liverpool away psychologically would be big for people talking about a title race. I think we all agree with that. One love for that, South London's finest. If you're on Twitch, make sure you're subscribing with Amazon Prime, of course. So, yeah, man. With that being said, though, people, appreciative to you lot's talking points, your opinions, your questions. If you haven't smashed the like button, make sure you've done such. I'm getting a bit hungry, man. I've had a light breakfast, sorry. It's now time to get lunch. It's now time to cut up some clips for you lot. And just eagerly wait Arsenal against Sporting Lisbon, people. As I said, we are watching Arsenal. Oh, yeah, has everyone's comments gone? What's that? We're watching Arsenal against Sporting Lisbon in the second leg of this Europa League tie today together. Tomorrow, we're actually, and it will only be on Twitch purely because we can literally watch it together. We'll be reacting to this game. That will be on YouTube and Twitch tomorrow. We'll be watching the Champions League and Europa League streams. 3 p.m. I'm going to have my Arsenal fan show. So, yeah, make sure you're there. There's hella content. I'd rather Tony than Osimhen. I mean, in Tony's defense, he's quote unquote Premier League proven, and Osimhen's a bit of a fear of the unknown. You don't know how he did that, but Osimhen, it's hard to not want that at your football club, innit? It's hard not to want that. Yeah, bro, they ain't scoring goals, and that Palace team should be doing more, but their strikers are ish. I mean, give Vieira the job for another year. We'll give you Balogun for a year, and it's calm. But to be fair, they did start the game very well against Brighton. They just got savaged, but you know, just a few months ago, he was being highly rated, Patrick Vieira, with what he's doing at Palace, and now he's walking a tightrope. Such is life. As I said, people, watching Sporting against Arsenal later, you lot stay blessed, stay safe, stay in good spirits, stay having a great week. Appreciative of all of you lot for tuning in across YouTube and Twitch. I'm out.
There's always just that active red flag defenders. I think it's like